Welcome to episode 20 of the Justin Johnston Show. I'm Justin Johnston. We're excited about having 20 episodes so far, some really good interviews. Today it'll just be me because of some commitments that Blake has had, and I'm thankful to Blake for all that he's done to set up this show, and we're having some good traction out there overall together. So I heard this in an audience one time, and the speaker was expecting us to finish the sentence for him. And it goes about like this. It's not what you know, but, and of course the audience said, but who you know. And he said, no, that's wrong. It's not what you know, but who knows you. And that is the premise for basically what that training that I went to before was networking. And how important is networking? Well, it's huge. It's what we're going to talk about today is that as a commercial real estate agent, we deal with so many companies, real estate owners, investors, and people in the community. We also interact with cities, all different municipalities, counties, and it is an extension of all the people that we know, our kids know, not just the parents, but as I've gotten older, my kids have friends that my children have had friends that are buying real estate. They're looking at investing, and it's fun. It's actually fun to know people and to be putting yourself in a position. Now, you talk about networking, and people they even clam up. Even people that feel like they have natural instincts or they're a natural born networking person. I do believe there's some people that are more geared towards that. We talk about introverts, extroverts. A lot of introverts are very suspicious of, hey, people are going to think that I am trying to promote myself or pump it, and people don't want to know that. I hate when some guy's up there grandstanding and taking over in a particular meeting or a small group, or he's standing there with a drink in his hand and he's passing out cards with his other hand, business cards at a networking event. And so this has come up a couple times. We've got some younger brokers that are coming along, and they've got a lot of questions with how to do this. So let me give you a couple of points that I think have some significance there. First of all, I call professional networking. It's where you go out and you're at events, sometimes training, sometimes an affiliation. Here in commercial real estate, the ones that are probably most familiar is the CCIM investment group. It is more than just brokers, it's owners, and I guess that's the case with even the others. There's owners, there's SIOR, Society of Industrial and Office Realtors, and that is actually been one of the leading groups of people that I know and attend. It is National Association of Industrial and Office Properties is one that I was affiliated with 20 plus years ago, and caters, I think, a lot to developers of industrial and office properties. Why do you attend those? How do you attend them to where it's beneficial for you? Any type of local training, or even on a national level, you could be involved in going to get continuing education, continuing to get more knowledge in a particular asset class, or the way things are being done, right? The right way to do things, the proper way to do things. There's industry standards. And at those, you can also get to know your competitors and compadres as well. It's a great place to network, and you get also training, right? You find out other things. Where are deals being cut? What's the prices? That type of thing. And if you can contribute to that, or give yourself, open up and be able to discuss the things with your competitors and those you're doing deals with, which are, most of the people I would call competitors are good friends of mine. And I would say that sales in real estate, commercial real estate, are different than any other sales. There may be some like it, but there is a fiduciary responsibility that we have. And fiduciary, of course, is to represent your client's interest. And so oftentimes it takes that type of relationship to make a deal. I'm a listing agent on a project. I have another agent that's bringing a tenant or a buyer, and that buyer wants to make sure that they feel represented, or the tenant wants to get the best rates, and they feel like maybe as the listing agent I may not give that to them. So who am I advertising to and trying to network there with? I've always said my number one clients, if you want to call them that, or number one sources of income, are other commercial real estate brokers in my marketplace. as well as some other real estate agents that are maybe doing investments from the residential side, and they've got people that they want to bring over. So huge benefits for going in to plug into that network of professionals that are also in your industry. You can learn, you find out how and the best practices of doing that. Another avenue, and I think that this is what it really boils down to, is for some reason people get their hair in a dander. They get to where they feel like, I don't want to get up there and just be self-promoting. And, that's interesting that that's the way they look at it, because I even feel like new agents, veteran agents, they don't necessarily like going to those events unless there's a free lunch, of course. You'll see every residential and commercial agent show up for that, trying to get a free meal. And you're still networking, right? You're showing up, you're supporting your landlords out there that are putting on those things, or other brokers in the marketplace. But you got to make it so that it's not about you. Networking is all about being selfless and about being in a position to just give of your time. It might be in training, it might be educating or showing someone how to do something. You don't always get paid for everything that you do. Sometimes you're just lending your expertise and knowledge, and you never know where that's going to come up. Now, we talk about the elevator pitch, we talk about people we come in contact with. Let me give you a couple of examples of what I've seen and experienced myself for power networking. And that is, let's go municipalities and cities. Every week, there's either a planning commission meeting or a city council meeting. Are you there in attendance? Are you there with a message that, here in Utah County, we've got a dozen cities: Alpine, Highland, Lehigh, Pleasant Grove, American Fork, Vineyard, Linden, and that's just the north end of the county, Orem, Provo, Springville, Spanish Fork. There's no way you could attend every one of those meetings. But if you have projects in those cities and you see things going through, or somebody else is bringing a project through, being there, being seen, and also having a voice, either talking to, maybe get there early so you can talk with staff members, planning commission members, city council members, and having a discussion of what your expertise is, not a slanted one, but how this project is a positive or a negative. But more than anything, you are showing that you care, right? So you're not there pumping, giving cards out. Of course, you can give cards out, but once you start to attend these meetings on a regular basis, people will know you and they'll see it and you get respect. And so I look at that as maybe one of the best ways that you can network, because you do see other developers that are taking projects through the city, other people in your community attending those. You're going to see brokers, like I said, developers, the land developers that are taking things through the city, and the challenge that they're facing in the last couple of years. Taking something through the city has become, I'd say only since '08 has it become progressively more difficult. It's from retention of water, surface water, water off the roofs, landscaping, setbacks from residential. It's made it so that not one particular legislation item has been maybe over the top, but the combination of all of them has really brought an expertise that you need as a developer and owner. So at those meetings, I do try to get up and I at least voice an opinion of sorts if I see it going in a direction that's not the right direction, or if I see a really good presentation that I feel like the developer did. If there's a chance to land that in a public setting, I do that. Some other ways, power networking. If you're an avid sports fan or not, maybe you're just wanting to get to know. Maybe you moved into a new market and you're saying, hey, I want to get to know people, and affiliating with your local teams, whatever that is, basketball, baseball, football, they're the big ones. But if you have a passion and it's tied to volleyball, and you've got a daughter that's playing, you should attend all of those events that you can. And it just gives it's a great situation because it's not a professional setting. You're there just to support and cheer the team along, and by doing that, obviously you create a camaraderie. One of my daughters had she was on the drill team, Pleasant Grove Vikings. They were called the Vikettes, and you'd show up there, and they had a big team. They're one of the best teams in the state. They're always placing in the top 5 schools in Utah. And they've gone on to nationals many times, and to go there. It's intense. I mean, it's as intense as any sporting event that you can imagine. I really loved it. It's great to watch and be a part of a local team, and everybody there, you're just not there for yourself. You're there to root on, not just your daughter, but all the other kids and the parents and all the other ways that you can serve. You can get on the committee and say, hey, we can bring pizza, we can do these other things like that. How can we help support? And again, let me extend that. It's not just to those sporting events. One, just to actually go and be a participant. Then there's the other side that you can sponsor. Every baseball team, every little league in all sports is looking for additional funds that they can provide the uniforms and actually hopefully for the coaches to get paid something. They're dedicating several hours a day, every day, and their weekends when the games are. You can even just be a volunteer for that. Hey, what can I do, Coach? Could I be there 2 or 3 days a week? Help, throw balls to kids? What if you can do that, do it. And you don't have to be promoting. Everybody knows what you do in your off job, right? I mean, in not outside of that little volunteer. And of course, you're not doing it just to do that, but look for opportunities to jump in and do that. Now, let's not leave out religion. I think that a lot of people are falling away from religious or structured, organized religion. Whatever it is for you, there's always something. Maybe that's, hey, we want to go to Sundance for lunch. That's our religion. We go up to Sundance every Sunday, or whatever it might be, right? I'm not trying to say or pin that down. I'm just saying there's a group of people that are always trying to find peace and happiness, and they want to be surrounded by people with similar views and values that we can help lift each other. And there's huge opportunity to not again be there for yourself, to see how you can be lifted. And in that, I was able to serve as a clerk just on the financial side. Nobody wanted me to teach a lesson. Nobody wanted me to be telling them life advice. I would have been the last person to do that. But I was able to participate in financial activities, in membership activities that were making sure we had the right records, and that, if a new kid was born and if they were being blessed or baptized, I was able to help participate in literally hundreds of different, well, not just financial transactions, but being involved in people's lives. And it was a great opportunity. Every one of those men and women that I served with on that board were people that I would do anything for. And I saw how much behind the scenes people actually do. That's not something I've done in the past. I was really grateful that I had the opportunity to do that and see it. So there's that. There's a couple other, I guess you could extend that to several other things. But look, the point is this, and I'll close. Networking is not going to these events. There are networking clubs. I know there's breakfast clubs. People from all sorts of different backgrounds are getting together once a week, once every other week at a good breakfast location, split up into individual tables, maybe one big table, and people can go around and introduce themselves, what they're doing, something for the week. It's before work, generally, so you're not taking up hours of your work time. So the point is, look for every opportunity, but don't look at it as what you can glean from it. That kind of goes against the intuitive, and of course that's not it. I don't care if you're an introvert, extrovert, you have something to offer. And just you have to look at it that way and say, you know what, whatever we do more of, it becomes easier. That's what I believe. And I think that if we're putting ourselves out there and we're talking to people and they know that you care and you're actually extending yourself to offer services or to be part of something, is huge. I don't think you can underestimate that. Now, all the things I discussed, they're all different. City, municipalities, kids' soccer games, church. It's really looking for ways. I mean, it is so easy to just try to, hey, I'm done. It's 6 o'clock. I've had a hard day. I'm going to go home, pop a couple back and watch some TV and defrag and get ready for tomorrow. That becomes pretty monotonous. If you've got stuff to look forward to throughout the week that you've got to go to and be involved in and keep you sharp and keep your mind active and you're contributing, there's no better place or way to network. So that's really it for the show. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Please go on. We may extend to a couple other platforms, but for YouTube, please give us some feedback. If there's some things you think that we're doing are just up in the night, let us know. If there's some things you think that we're missing that we need to be talking about, let me know that as well. Again, Thank you for tuning in to the Justin Johnston Show. Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.